Yeah, a lot of confidence boosting right there.
And also, if you missed any of the action throughout the weekend, make sure you check it out on gotfrag.com, MMO-champion.com, and MLGpro.com. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and get these guys queued up. They're sitting at their computers, and we have an arena popping up now. Yes, it's going to be on Blades Edge Arena for Game 1 between EG and Complexity.
A Blades Edge Arena, there's a distinct advantage to running a Warlock, of course, on this. Plus, you can hide those totems under the bridge.
Always a little bit of an advantage on a Warlock on these 2-tier maps. But still, I don't put it too much in either of these teams' favor. If they're going to want to win, they're going to have to earn it, no matter the map.
That is very true. Now, each of the rogue has a different opening playstyle. You know, Wreckful, he normally hangs back a little bit right at the start, finds his target, and then goes in. But whereas Snap, every time we've seen him, he's been rushing straight in so far.
And actually a little bit of a gear difference between these two players. Of course, Wreckful having Fort, so that's one of the reasons for a lot of that HP. But looking at energy bar, Smatton's at 120 and Wreckful at 130, opting for a little more of that PvP gear.
All right, so we'll be following Wreckful out of the gate to see how he kind of sets up the beginning of the fight on Blades Edge.
And the gate's about to open for Game 1 between Complexity and Team EG. Now you see it, a nice and slow start from Wreckful, but actually look over to Vinruki, going to go ahead and ride into the opposing team's side, and we do see those purges coming out already from Tenderloins, who does have Earthshield on himself currently. And now we see a Fear onto Vinruki with a few dots coming in from Azael, but a Sap onto Smash.
Double Sap.
And onto Wreckful at the same time, so both rogues going to sit this one out for a little bit. We do see a Spelllock onto Vinruki, big Fear coming in from Soda, and now we see Azael caught into a Poly, so a great start from Complexity so far.
Tenderloin taking a ton of damage right now. Everyone on the team attacking him all at once, including Soda. Tons of damage coming out. There goes the NS. He's back up to half, not able to pick himself back up. Ghost wolfing away, getting down under the bridge, starting to cast, but there they are. They're going to stick right on him the entire time.
But look back onto Wreckful, caught in that kidney. He will cloak with pain suppression up, drops down to 10,000 HP. Great job by Tenderloins actually getting out of this situation. There's that cheap shot. It's going to be quickly followed by a kidney shot, so under pressure once again, and Smattons is caught into a Poly, followed by a Fear. Not looking good for Tenderloins.
Tenderloins is getting controlled. Lots of CC on him. He's trying to heal as much as he can, but he's really low on mana. 2,000 mana, Earthshield on himself, Ghost wolfing away. Tons of pressure, although look, there's no damage on the team of Complexity right now.
Smatton's just being controlled. Tenderloins dropped all the way down. He's going to try to get a full mana tied off, and now he's going to have to Ghost Wolf back around as Smatton's is in a lot of trouble and caught in that kidney, 1,500 HP, and down goes Smatton's, and Complexity in complete control this entire game and going to score the win on this first match.
Soda even had time to Holy Fire the mana tide totem. So there we go. Now it is going to be 1-0 in favor of Complexity on Blades Edge.
And taking a quick look at the damage breakdown, of course, influencing these, what you see on the screen is Power Word Shield against an RMP, but still 24,000 from Azael, 15, almost 16,000 from Smattons, Soda doing 23K, Vinruki doing 58,000, and Wreckful doing 48K. But the real story here is look at Tenderloin's damage received, 92,000 damage.
That is a lot.
And great job by him actually living through that for so long, but still Smatton's got into a bad position after Tenderloins had to escape and just got caught into a kidney he couldn't break, and that was the end of it for him.
All right, so we'll wait for these teams to queue right back up. We can kind of see the players' monitors from here if we look really closely, and sometimes we can see them queue. It's great. So we've got these teams. They can't make any changes right now whatsoever to their comps, so, you know, look for this same setup.
That is Complexity on the right side, Wreckful, Vinruki, and Soda on the left, EG, Azael, Smatton, and Tenderloin.
Looks like they just queued up. I do see someone double-checking his glyphs. Maybe I saw wrong.
And Ryan Moore, our head admin, taking a seat behind the players, and there we go. Game 2 going to be played on the Ring of Valor. And now, this does not play out too well for Tenderloin at all, because what we saw in the last game, they're going to do the same thing, and he's not going to have that room to kite and Ghost Wolf.
He's not going to have instant LOS right after the first pillar drops, and the big deal is he's got to be able to survive to the point where he makes it to the big pillar, and that's a long time.
Let's go ahead and get into the arena, as we're going to be seeing these two teams go at it. And now EG in a very tough spot. That last game just seemed to be completely in the favor of Complexity, and also not proving too well for my prediction either.
All right, so we have on the left-hand side of your screen is going to be that team of EG. As everyone knows, Azael is top left playing that Warlock. We got Spattens, the new Rogue, and Tenderloins, the new Shaman to the tournament scene.
On the right, Complexity, Colvin, Rookie, Soda, and Rekful. And now Rekful still opting for a little more PvP gear, and Smattens doesn't look like he's made any gear changes whatsoever.
Out of the gate, we'll watch Soda because he definitely was a deciding factor in that last match. You know, he was there for every dispel, helped out with the damage on the Tenderloins when he could. Even had time to kill a Manatide Totem.
And we saw some big fears coming in from him throughout those games as well. And just Complexity looking like they know exactly what to do against this RLS.
The elevator is coming up. This is going to be the second round of the match on Ring of Valor. Currently, Complexity leads 1-0.
And now let's see exactly. Soda actually taking that forward position against this team. Doesn't look like he's hiding anywhere. Venruki already getting that water element on. And now we see a cheap shot onto Soda, actually pushed up into that open position, followed by Kitty, but there's going to be dots onto Venruki. Early blind on the Rekful. He's going to break that immediately, but there's a blind on the Tenderloin as well. He's going to sit through that, but Azael under 10,000 HP and get a cheap shot again, and down under 5,000 HP. Can Tenderloin picking back up, caught inside that deep freeze. He's able to, and in comes that Bloodlust. So let's see if Team EG can start turning it around a little bit. You see Soda setting up for that next fear, killing the Tremor Totem, and there he goes for the big fear on Tenderloin. Saw that being set up, and Azael still taking a lot of damage. Smatt's caught into a poly, so Complexity just controlling this match from beginning to end.
And there we go. He's going to portal away, trying to get a step. And the greatest part of playing this spec when you have the portal is you'll be able to immediately UA a target. But look at Tenderloin taking all the damage in a deep freeze right now. It's followed by a counter spell. Oh, big heal right there, keeping himself right at half, trying to keep himself up. Now Air Shield on himself. Lots of damage from Rekful coming out on him.
And still nothing going for this team of EG, as Tenderloin is just taking too much damage at this point. Still hovering around 5,000 HP, and now it's going to be it. Tenderloins goes down. Complexity scores a kill again. And this second round on Ring of Valor is going to go to Complexity.
And isn't that irony? He died on the pillar, and it came up just as he died. That is unfortunate for Tenderloins. So this team of EG down 2-0 right now to Complexity.
And now, I mean, really looking at it, all three members of Complexity doing a great job of not only maintaining damage throughout these games, but the control was excellent. Smatten's not really a part of that game for quite a while. Caught into a poly. He actually tried to get a re-stealth off after the poly faded and just got put right back into a poly as he stealthed. So a little unfortunate, but just nothing going for EG at all as far as momentum goes.
They got to turn something around for this next match if they still want to compete.
And now, as you see, Complexity's actually going to get up from their chairs and talk about it a little bit. And they do have an opportunity here, a few minutes to talk things through, change anything they want to. So while we have a little bit of downtime, we will go over to the Ask the Cast thread on gotfrag.com on the forums and try to pull some of the questions that you guys have been posting for us. And we'll try to answer most of them. And a lot of people seem very interested to see what Cataclysm will bring. And now most people are specifically talking about the Worgen and Goblin racials.
Yeah, a lot of people like to theorycraft about new things that are going to be coming out. Like, not even on the PTR yet. Like, next year, even after Cataclysm, when we have, you know, dragons as a playable character, you know, will the Dragon Breath hit everything in the arena? But specifically, though, for the to be serious, the Worgen and the Goblin racials are awesome. I mean, they're going to be a lot of fun to play. I know if you have a sprint or a disengage on your class, you know how much fun it is. And I mean, how many arena players leveled up engineering specifically for the boots? And it's the idea. It's, you know, it's a racial now, so it is going to make a big difference, especially with you know, if you ever played against an RMP and the priest had a had rocket boots, you knew that you could eat a fear in a very odd situation when you're not expecting it.
And a big thanks to Shrew for whatever it is you just did. But back to the Ask the Cast thread. again, more questions about WLD and why we're not seeing it, but it's just a change of the game. WoW as an esport and MMO as an esport, it's constantly evolving and changing. And these comps that you see so dominant in the past will not continue to be, just with a few changes. And actually, that goes into the next question from 1174 from Voltus. He asked, what would you guys say, since you guys started these tournaments, would you say was or is the most OP threes comp, and why? And honestly, I would say WLD, because for the simple fact, when you see every single team swapping to that comp and doing well and winning these tournaments, that's when you really know that something has taken it to the next level.
Yeah, RMP has been around forever. It's been placing decently high, at every tournament so far. It's been represented in the top few spots in every tournament. So I'd say RMP has been around the longest and played the most. But you talk about a dominant comp. I mean, the Blizzard tournament had how many WLDs? I mean, there were just so many playing.
And now going down to 1184, a little criticism on the Pooks about the games against Czech 6. And honestly, Pooks, if you watched him in the Grand game, he spent the entire time LOSing Twix. That was his one goal that entire game, was to LOS Twix, not allowing Flex and Twix to establish on him at the same time. But it just doesn't matter, because eventually both of them are going to get over to him. That's the biggest problem when you face against Cleaves, or the setup of Beast Cleave, is that these two are eventually going to get to their target. And when they do, that's where the whole thing of Flex Connects comes in. We used to have Twix on a target, and right whenever Flex got over to it, that was it. You'd see the Wind Fury animation, and something would disappear.
So we are waiting. These teams did sit right back down, probably getting ready to queue up right now, waiting for the admin to give them the go-ahead. And there we go. Dalaran Arena is going to be our next match. It sure is.
And now some people asking about Flex coming out and just using Wolves right away. Got to get in combat and got to get things started. Why not use those Gorbals right away? And I do believe Spirit Wolves that last 45 seconds. So if you can kite around that team for 45 seconds.
Well, how many matches lasted longer than 45 seconds in that last series?
That is true.
But no, it is true. The whole sapping thing is a big deal, because when your goal is to go as fast as possible and kill somebody right away, you need to make sure that you're not going to get sapped at the start.
All right, let's go ahead into the game on Dalaran Arena. On the left side, Team EG. On the right, Complexity. Complexity up 2-0 at this point. This is Game 3.
So it is going to be on Dalaran Arena. No real team having a strict advantage at this point. Maybe possibly some LOS issues for Complexity with those boxes and the lip on the edge. So, but, obviously they're going to have healing problems for Tenderloins also, should they chase.
Yep. Tenderloin's not really going to have much room. He's going to have to stay around those boxes. If he falls down that second level, it's really going to limit how much room he has to work with, but we'll have to see if Complexity changes things up. They know that this RLS thinks they're going to go for the Shaman, so maybe expect a little bit of tricks coming out from the team of Complexity. Now both rogues just staying in stealth, kind of waiting patiently in this one, but Smatton's actually already using Sprint. He does have Soda targeted, and it looks like he's going to wait it out, and wow, big fear coming out, and now Azale caught in that Kenny going to have to trinket immediately. This game is already not looking good, as Tenderloins got hit with so much CC. Now his trinket's already down, so he will be susceptible to being swapped to. Now Rekful in a blind and getting fully dotted and swapped to. Smatton's onto him, cheap shot, and followed by a dismantle, but still Soda doing a great job of keeping him up. Now look over to Tenderloins. He still has Earth Shield on himself because he knows he is an option. Now look over to Rekful. Full line of dots, followed by a Death Pool after that kidney shot, but Soda's still able to keep him up. There's that close vantage from Rekful. And wow, I cannot believe that Phantonox did not break his stealth. And there's a swap over to Tenderloins. Knew it was coming, down to 7,000 HP. While Nature's Guardian is going to proc, and he will NS afterwards, picking himself up. Now he's going to Ghost Wolf out of there and try to get away, as he knows the pressure is just going to continue on. And the only damage really going, we have a couple dots on the Soda, but not anything onto the
Tenderloin needs a shield, like right now. There it goes. Okay. Forget the shield for a little bit, but it's back up, and Azure shield is going to heal him probably back straight up, but Rekful doing a lot of damage to him right now. Down to half, but big fear, and he had to trinket it to stay onto his target, followed by a counterspell onto Tenderloin, who is now out of mana.
but look over to Wreckful, down to 6,000 HP. In comes a Divine Hit from Soda, and wow, 4,000 HP. Those ticks of Divine Hit just coming in the nick of time. There is a Hex on a Venruki, so he is not going to have anything to break that, and it looks like that Azael's going to take this opportunity to get some damage rolling onto him, but still Wreckful, the one under fire from Smattens, and Tenderloin's able to try to get a drink off in that moment. Wreckful kiting away and trying to stay away, and now he's going to get right back onto Tenderloin, who is completely tapped at this point.
No mana tide, no mana, having to keep Earth Shield on himself. There he goes. He's going to swap to Water Shield for a second. He's going to be spamming Water Shield, actually. But Wreckful taking a ton of damage right now, even though, oh, Soda's feared away, 2,000 hit points, and he goes down.
So actually, Team EG able to turn it back a little bit, score a kill on a Wreckful, and look how close this game is. Tenderloin is completely tapped and has been for a while. Smat's going to get the re-stealth off, get back around, and get the opener on a Venruki, and they will leave the arena, making this 2-1 Complexity over EG.
And there was excellent control by Team EG from the beginning. We saw when Wreckful went all out straight from the beginning, we had a Hex, a Fear, and it all came out. I mean, everything to stop the damage right away. And they were able to continue with that and make it all the way to the win.
All right, and these players should be queuing up momentarily as there's no changes to be made to either of these teams. And this is a very clutch situation for EG if they're able to turn this back around. It looked a little bad for them after those first two games, but after watching that game, even though it was very close, I don't think they wanted to get that close again. So still some changes need to be made on the side of EG.
Now, do you think it was a target choice at the beginning, or what do you think went wrong for EG?
Now,
in the first two,
one of the big things is there were a lot of stacked CCs onto Tenderloin in the beginning, which he was able just to trinket and get out of that, and that kind of stopped the opener of Complexity. I'd like to see them be a little more precision with their CC onto Tenderloin, so even after he trinkets, they still have something to hit him with.
Right, so this fourth round in this match of 5 rounds, which we are going to play completely out, as we always say, since it will matter for Sunday in the double elimination bracket. We are going to be following Smattens out. We haven't seen much from the match in terms of spectating, so we'll be following him from the start, see how he decides to get his opener against this RMP.
And now, again, those gear differences between these two rogues, Smattens opting for a little more of that PvE gear, while Wreckful taking advantage of that 4-piece PvP set.
Doors should be opening pretty soon as these teams are ready to go. EG currently down 1 game, so 2-1 currently Complexity leading.
Gates have open. EG going to need to win this to stay alive in the series. Smatten's taking it slow and steady, but look over to the side of Complexity, already rushing into things. Venruki going to get it started, and you see him coming across, getting purged down by Tenderloins, though, not having many buffs after that. And now he's just going to come up and put some debuffs onto Azael and try to get a poly off, and which he will easily. And now he's going to immediately trinket. There's that Death Coil going over to Soda. A lot of pressure starting out, but there's a blind onto Azael as his trinket is down. Tenderloin under pressure. There's a big fear onto Smattens, and he's going to immediately trinket and try to get back into this fight as he knows his Shaman is in trouble. Smattens onto the back of Wreckful, trying to get a little damage out. Soda is stuck into a fear, though. Let's see if EG is going to be able to do anything with this, but Tenderloin's still taking too much damage.
There goes the NS from Tenderloin, so he's using all his cooldowns right now. Wreckful in a kidney shot right now with a lot of dots on him. There goes the cloak, and he's able to get back onto his target, which is Tenderloin.
And now Smatten's caught into another poly. Devour's not going to RNG that one, so he's going to have to sit through that. Tenderloin's in a lot of trouble. 11,000 HP sitting inside that CS. Big fear on the Wreckful from Azael, trying to help his teammate out, and Soda is still sitting very high on mana actually in this situation, not having to heal too much. Fear onto Venruki as they're just trying to control damage as Tenderloin drops down to 5,000 HP, trying to get a healing wave off as Wreckful is caught in a kidney right in his face, but he's completely tapped at this point, and down he goes. Complexity gonna take this match and make it 3-1, winning the series. And like Jared said, we will play out this 5th game, but Complexity with a very clean win in that match.
It really was. We saw some excellent plays during that. Obviously, Wreckful doing a great job of staying on his target. Azael did a great job of portaling up to his portal, which was on the top of the bridge, where Tenderloin had kited Wreckful up there, and immediately he cast a fear on him, but it didn't matter.
All right, and there that goes. Quick look at the damage breakdown. Actually, Azael doing a pretty large amount of damage, but look at Wreckful, 87,000 damage. Of course, that a little bit skewed as he was stacking up a little extra damage towards the end of that matchup, but still impressive numbers coming out from Wreckful in that game.
I like Venruki's style of riding to the opposite ramp immediately and noving and trying to get that rogue out.
Yep, and you saw him stack up debuffs onto Azael and get that poly off, in which Azael immediately trinketed and tried to get back into it, but blinded right away from Wreckful.
It's excellent communication with crowd control, and that's definitely something you need if you're playing an RMP. You definitely need excellent communication, making sure that you don't overlap the CCs.
All right, looks like they're going to go immediately into Game 5. It's going to be played on the Ring of...
Well, Tenderloin has been in this position once before.
And now, looking at the RLS side of things from TBD, I really hope that they change things up. And it looks like stacking up spell power to make sure he gets as strong as Earth Shield as possible before this match starts. He's going to swap that trinket back out. And just one of those extra little tricks that you will see the Shamans do to try to help them out in these games.
Yeah, they swap into all PvE gear with full spell power and chance, and they put a on spell proc spell power trinket on. That's why he was channeling those or casting those lesser healing waves constantly until it procced, and then he ear shielded himself. So he means business.
But still, Complexity already winning the series 3-1. EG now in that position to see if they can maybe make it look a little closer in that form of 3-2.
Now at the beginning of this match, it looks like EG is trying to run out of this arena, actually. Both the Shaman and the Warlock trying to run as fast as they can to the opposite pillar.
All right, let's follow Wreckful as we see exactly what he goes for. And again, I still think they may not start immediately on Tenderloins, but he's going to be the man under pressure after trinkets begin to be used. And now he's going to jump out the backside, not sprinting just yet, wait it out. But Venruki starting it once again, and he does have a Zale targeted. There's a cheap shot and an early blind. It looks like, no, Tenderloin's actually going to be caught into a poly. Now Zale down to 8,000 HP inside that Kenny, 5,000 HP, 651 HP, uses HP clicky. Tenderloin is CS'd and wow, barely gets that heal off as that deep freeze was just a second late, but a big fear, followed by another poly onto Tenderloin comes in as Zale still not above 10,000 HP.
He has to get those heals off right now, but he's blinded, and Azale is down to 1,000 hit points, and he's done.
I mean, that was just clean and easy from Complexity, ending the series out 4-1, and just Tenderloin's not really the man that got under pressure as far as damage goes, but just the amount of CC that he was hit with throughout that, and I mean, literally Azale almost died so many times, and still that blind was just icing on the cake. And that was the blizzard coming in from Venruki, saying just to prove a point, I believe.
Well, there were 2 targets in the range, so
it
was almost worth using.
I still don't think it'll give you a reason. But hey, you're Venruki, you can do what you want. The tricks of the trade blizzard, man, that's serious business. All right, that's going to conclude the series. Complexity topples EG 4-1. And pretty impressive showing from Complexity, who's had a little bit of a rough start to this tournament. Now EG beating SKEU earlier, but they're going to end up 1-2 overall, I believe, now, after losing their first game on Friday night.
It was a rough map for Azale, and one of the big problems is right from the start where he dropped his portal. He was starting to get attacked while he was standing on it, so that was rough.
So we are going to take a short commercial break, but don't worry about it. Plenty of WoW action coming up as we have BHMS versus Check 6. So we're going to take a short commercial break and be right back here live in Anaheim for the Major League Gaming 2009 PC circuit played on HP.